I don't know him. I've heard a lot of great things about him, though.
Yeah.
So I've always heard great things about him.
How do you how do you come down or move forward after a win like you had against Tennessee, get focused on the next one?
I think that's what you do, right? And then we go right in yesterday and dive right into how we're going to guard Mississippi State. And this time of year, it's a daily process on where your team is at. What you want to do with them physically. Mentally, you got to make sure you're keeping an eye on that as well. But yesterday, especially with our situation now, because you're getting ready for each game, but we also we don't have an off day till Wednesday, right? Because we play Kentucky on Tuesday. So you have to manage that as a coach. But the bottom line is we go right in and we're locked in on how we're going to guard Mississippi State, and then we worked on us. And then today we'll have more of a regular type of practice, not a long one, but then go and get ready to play. So it's not that hard. It's really not. And I think when you're in a league like this, they understand. I mean, every game right now, because they've been in every game in this situation, what we've had in the last couple of weeks, really the entire season. But when you look at the Memphis game to the SEC schedule, I mean, every game has been a huge battle. So I think you start to figure out that there's no way you can look ahead, look beyond, look back. I mean, you better stay square in the moment, and that's what we're trying to make sure they can all do.
What's the latest on Severe? Will he be able to go?
Hopefully. We didn't practice him yesterday. He walked through all the stuff that we did yesterday, but we're hopeful. We'll see more after today.
What's his importance? I mean, obviously you inserted him in the starting
What's his importance?
I know.
Well, I think it's
I know
pretty
the
clear.
answer to that, but if he wasn't able to go, yes.
Well, we just have to deal with it, right? If he can't, it is what it is. I mean, you just go, right? I mean, that's why you try to develop and try to get multi-dimensional, versatile guys. Obviously, he's a huge factor in this, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes today and see how he feels tomorrow.
You talked about not having an off day until next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the freshmen are handling the grind so far, playing 2 games a week?
Well, it's up to us. It's up to us to make sure that we keep it energized, and it's up to us to make sure that we're helping them get better. But it's up to them to come in with a spirit of improvement, right? And when you have a spirit of improvement, all right, and a spirit of competitiveness, now you have a chance to get better. I mean, they go hand in hand. It's not just about coming in, I'm going to get better, but I don't want to compete. And it's not just about, well, I just want to play, but I don't want to learn, right? I mean, you have to have both. And so I think that's the biggest thing you can try to do. And then you just keep looking at it. I mean, you definitely have to manage it differently when you have this many young guys. I mean, so that becomes a part of the daily process. But you don't get away from what's the most important to get ready for that game. So you have your preparation, but you also have the fact that we've got to be better from one game to the next. So the more that we're improving, the more that they're improving their skills, the more that they're improving the synergy of being on being with different guys, or the groups are together, repping our repping out so we get our execution right. Those type of things are important.
You were on Jaquan too?
What about?
Oh, he missed.
Yeah, he's clear. He practiced yesterday. Yeah. Go ahead. Anything else?
As far as Mississippi State goes, as far as their personnel goes, how y'all
they're tough
the
now.
challenge?
They're tough. Reggie Perry is playing phenomenal. And Nick Witherspoon just changes everything in there again because of the quickness and speed. He's so good off the dribble. And I didn't coach against him last year. But I don't believe so, right? He didn't play the game we had, right? So the bottom line with him is he can really, really get to the basket. And they're good. I mean, they're leading the league in offensive rebounding. They're getting 14 offensive rebounds a game, and Perry and Adu are getting 8, right? So that's a big task. I mean, every game we come in here talking about how important the rebounding is. Now we're playing the league leader, right? So that part of it is tough. But they're shooting the ball, right? We're not going to get misled by the numbers of the last few games, percentage-wise. They can really shoot the ball. Their wings can shoot it and get to the rim, right? Those things create an issue. So they're playing well at home. They get on some real runs, like other teams in this league do. And so we've got to be able to withstand that. But Reggie Perry, what he's at is he could shoot. And now I think in the last 5 games, he's their second leading three-point shot attempt guy. So he's definitely on the perimeter more and more. And we've got to be really, really sharp on where those guys are at on the court.
Have you ever coached at the Hump?
No, I've never been to Starkville. I've never been to Starkville. I'd never been to Oxford before last year, and I've never been to Starkville before tonight.
Any messages for the Georgia fans about baby beanie Bulldogs? And wasn't that the famous?
Well, they can
game
throw
last
one
year?
there. I'd be cool if somebody threw one there, as long as they weren't You know, as long as it's not a Georgia, a souvenir of UGA or something like that, so.
Reflecting on that last year, was that one of the most bizarre things you'd seen in your
Yeah,
years
that was
before?
tough. That was really tough because the way I saw the film is the foul was on them at the end, and it wasn't on Jordan, and that was tough. And that was a tough day, and it was a tough finish, and really I can't say much more about it. I think by going to the microphone, I think you try to settle it down. I think it's different if you're instigating something. There was nobody instigating anything. It was an isolated incident, and it was no question I was disappointed in how it was managed.
Any questions, Coach?
Thank you, Coach.
But that was a long time ago. Thanks a lot, Mike. All right, so see you